False Promise versus the Duel.
Yeah.
Always fantastic, right?
Yeah, the last yeah, it's one of the best.
He's back.
Spirit Breaker?
Man, why is everybody valuing this hero
Another
so much?
third pick Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, I think global presence, a lot of it.
Yeah.
You always want somebody who can just, he scares you when he's not on the map. It's a big thing, like, oh, he's not on the map. Same with Batrider. It's the same kind of thing, like, where is Batrider? He probably farming the jungle, but he could just be right behind you. Whoa.
I mean, perhaps a better analogy, the Nyx Assassin, that Complexity second band. Is that same kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think Trent was talking about, it wasn't even about completing the charges, it's about the vision that you get, the control that you have over the map yesterday. Wasn't that you, sir?
I'll take credit.
All right, great. So, yeah, I guess I could kind of see that. I mean, it is pretty nice to be able to know where your team is, where the enemy team is, and control their movements with that.
Oh, and look
at Moo. He's rocking that stash.
He's freaking ready. Look at that kid. He's
Moo
about
on the
to
right,
murder.
Z-Freak in the middle there, and I believe that's Swindles there on the left.
I believe you are right.
Yeah, very good job.
Good job.
Hey, not
Back to you,
everybody.
guys.
Not everybody knows. Come on,
Hey,
man. There's
you know-
no nameplate. Everybody here, you know, when you think of Complexity, you think Moo, you think Swindles. Z-Freak is my number one on that team.
Oh,
I mean,
he's
he's
insanely
incredible.
talented
I mean,
player.
every single time he picks up a hero that he's comfortable with, an Enigma, anything like that, he just destroys. It's unbelievable. And he's just so quiet and calm about it, you know? He's a secret assassin.
He really is.
He's been notorious for, I mean, years, even before Dota. Very efficient jungler, very good roamer. He's just always been known as that quiet player that will surprise you.
It's kind of surprising. I mean, him and Zai kind of do the same thing now. They play the 4, they play it insanely well, and they're both just...
5 seconds remaining.
Don't tell anyone about
Ooh, the Complexity.
Wow.
Signing.
Oh, boy.
This
So,
is a
this was
throwback.
classic when Limp was
and
around.
Chessie were both around,
But, of course, that's not the case anymore.
Wow. That's out of nowhere to me.
That's some issues too, though, because you are now rocking a lot of that burst damage. Maybe some of the same stationary issues the Legion Commander was suffering against that Timber Saw, where you're just kind of in place, maybe easy to get comboed up by a Tiny. And then the Life Stealer pick now, although it synergizes great with this Legion Commander and the Spirit Breaker, having to deal with that the shell, the Craggy is...
Yeah, even
very
versus Legion, you
frustrating.
duel a Tiny, Craggy.
Yeah.
Craggy.
Craggy.
Craggy's not fun.
Craggy.
And they have it versus melee. They're pretty much saying if you want to take this late game Ehome, you can't really pick more melee stuff. You're gonna have to pick even ranged little. It's interesting.
Yeah, and it's more than likely that Legion mid too, so Tiny should have a pretty decent time. Not really going to get dumpstered in the mid lane unless Ehome want to switch it up here.
Now, so we're assuming now, kind of going forward, Mirana probably is Z-Freak 0 maybe.
I think so.
I think there's a fair
Possibly,
chance.
maybe it could be.
Yeah. Possibly, potentially.
Whoa.
War.
We haven't seen more yet.
No, we have not.
And he hasn't been
This is
banned or picked,
a
so...
Slark classic here.
Yep.
Comfort zone for Ehome.
So what's a good hero to pick against Morphling? What really shuts him down? My go-to is Necrophos, but...
AM, probably. It'd be
AM's
interesting if
pretty
they
good.
ban it, just worrying, because it could be the Z-Frick Mirana, it could be the cancel mid Tiny.
You remember the
I
old
would just
school,
get rid of it.
the ultimate
5
counter to
seconds
Morphlane.
remaining.
Shadow Demon Elder Titan. Of course, they can't do it here, but that is like the quintessential.
Why?
They could
So,
do an...
because
do
now
Elder
easy.
Titan.
Yeah, Morphling, he's very high agility, so he has a lot of base armor. Natural Order gets rid of base armor, not plus armor, so all Morphling's tankiness there tends to go by the wayside.
He
And
is
then
correct.
Shadow Demon makes the illusions with the disruption, and his illusions have the normal Morphling stats, so Morphling gets
10
killed by his own
seconds
friends.
remaining.
That's crazy.
It's actually really sick. But Shadow Demon aside, Elder
5
Titan is still
seconds
very, very
remaining.
effective against Morphling.
They could still pick up Elder Titan here if they wanted, and then just move Tiny, give it to Moo, maybe.
He is a bit slow against a lot of these heroes, though. Like,
Ehome's
Spirit Breaker can't
turn
stop a
to
charge
pick.
very easily, can't stop a duel very quickly. The stationary aspect of duel, though, with the Earth Splitter is kind of nice. At least
Yeah.
for an
We
upside.
see
That's
Ehome.
right.
They think it is going to be a support Mirana, and I think we agree. Probably going to be Z-Freak, but they could switch it up, just like we saw the
10 seconds
last pick
remaining.
from Wings. What was it again? Oh, the Coddle. We're like, oh,
Yeah.
yes, Spirit Breaker's going to
5
the 3
seconds
position.
remaining.
It's interesting. So a tough last pick to call here for Ehome.
Kind of similarly with the OD, too. Like, we have seen the old chicken mid Legion Commander quite a bit, but we've also seen it just on old 11, too. So, you know, just banning that out
There
just
we
in
go.
case. And it looks like it will be the old chicken in this case.
Turn to pick.
So offlane Tide, support SB, and Warlock. So we'll have like a 4 roaming kind of Spirit Breaker.
Ehome's draft is so sick. I mean, they
It's
just got...
nasty.
It's
They've
tanky.
got a ton of tank, they got a ton of team fight, and they have just the ability to ball completely out of
Templar
control.
Assassin.
And then a Templar on complex. Ooh.
That's a cancel. Cancel loves that hero. Now he's going to be on land.
Okay.
We talked about TA a little bit yesterday. You know, she's going to be headed up mid, give you a little control in the Roche pit.
Ooh, look at we're huddling.
Now
hyped
that-
up.
This is
What
That's our
Tyrant was
team
talking
right
about
there,
yesterday,
boys.
you know, he's like, I wasn't feeling it game 1, that FNM series, but now that Complexity, they're feeling it. They gotta bring their energy.
Do you remember Cool Runnings?
Yeah, I just watched that like a couple weeks ago, man. I love that movie.
Yeah, that's
All right.
kind of what they're doing, I think.
That's an NA team right
Gang, we
there.
got to do a round of predictions here because we got to throw it to our
Takes
casters.
place in Canada.
Slacks, who's
Yeah.
taking game 1, buddy?
I want Complexity to win, but Ehome's gonna win.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
I'm going Ehome.
If they control the Morphling, I think they have a decent shot. If Sylar gets out of control and gets free farmed, they win. I'll say 51-49 complexity.
I'm giving the complexity to the Z Freak, Marana, the Oracle, and the safe lane Tiny. I believe.
I like it. Having a split panel, that's the way to do it. With that, let's see what our casters think. We've got Annie and Purge here for game 1 of Complexity versus Ehome.
Right. Of the day, we get to see Complexity debut their new roster and some more love for Spiritbreaker in the draft. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a very interesting game number 1 of this first series. I'm Android, joined by Purge. What are your thoughts on this draft so far?
Spiritbreaker is great at controlling the map. We saw it yesterday in the series. The amount of pressure that he applied once they're ahead was just insane. So it's almost like a pick that allows you, once you're ahead, to just end the game, at least with a huge advantage. I mean, they'll have things like Marana ulti to occasionally gander out and not use as many smokes to get map control, but I think it's something that's really, really important. It just scares your opponents. They won't feel comfortable farming, and they'll close the game out just due to farm net worth.
Yeah, I mean, the difference here is we're going to see Spiritbreaker a little bit free to roam around, whereas Face Beyond played it in that off-lane position, didn't want to leave, wanted to score up on those levels. They're going to see some initiations here on old 11, but it's a very difficult target to get down. He's pretty tanky,
Really
and
nice
now
to him.
with that Legion Commander heal, it's going to be almost impossible to keep initiating. So it's the Complexity, just keeping control of their own jungle, forcing Ehome back, but no blood spill just yet.
Yeah, it was smart for Cole to do that. It didn't cost them too much, only about, 100 mana for 2 of their heroes, and it also does force Old Chicken to press the attack level 1, which is arguably bad. This means that he can't zone a support as well because he wouldn't get extra attacks with his Moment of Purge skill. So it's going to be nice in the late game, though. That's not going to be the last time that we see a press the attack on an arrow target. So it's a really nice counter to what Complexity wants to do.
I'm really loving this Warlock pick by Ehome. We've seen Warlock be super impactful, not just for the big team fight golems, but also just the Fatal Bonds doing crazy amounts of work in this team fight.
And they have great AoE damage too. Overwhelming odds from the Legion Commander often does a huge nuke. Morphling combos are going to be really effective, and then there's also Tidehunter 2, Ravage, and Anchor Smash. If you can land that on a couple of heroes, it can do a lot of damage. So I think that can be effective. It looks like the Warlock is going to start in the safe lane though. Yeah, just spamming Shadow Word. I'm not entirely sure if it does break. It looks like it does actually break Refraction with level 1 of Shadow Word. Wasn't sure if it was below the threshold, but because it is, that's a massive advantage against Cancel
Oh,
here.
man. Yeah, Cancel just sitting underneath that tier 1. There's no reason Old Lanham can't just keep going on, keep spamming out those Shadow Words.
Yeah, that hero's so good at laning. That's why he's becoming so popular now, because all the other better laning heroes have been nerfed. So, does 15 damage for, I believe, 11 seconds with 1 skill point. That's 165 damage at level 1 nuke. It's amazing. Oh, it's 12 seconds. Actually got buffed again. It's 180 damage with 1 skill point.
Yeah, Cancel gonna have a tough time with this. Has a decent amount of tango, so we can keep, oh, that's Warlock. There we go. No more regen on Templar Assassin. Waiting on the bottle is gonna be crawling out right now, but Cancel's gonna really need some more support help. Do you keep the Oracle in lane? Do you rotate into Marana very frequently?
Well, this is the issue. They're aggressively dual laning here with both SB as well as the Legion, so they can't really do this as well. And Marana isn't exactly a support that can zone or outzone a Warlock. He's got super high base strength, and if you do try to harass him, he can usually just use Shadow Word on himself instead of offensively, and that's equivalent to about a tango and a half. It's just a huge advantage, so he'd have to show up, land an amazing arrow, and then with the 2 of them, TA and pot him, kill that support before he gets his heal off. It's just very unlikely.
Yeah, another one of the big changes for Complexity, of course, is that Moose can be playing that position 1 safe lane carry, starting things out with the Tiny. So definitely some ambitious targets there. What does Tiny need to really start coming online and being a fighter with this team?
Well, usually it's mostly levels is point number 1. With the levels, it should transition you into getting kills on enemy heroes. That's the important thing. So Blink Dagger can obviously help with that. And I'm a little unsure about if he is going to be able to one-shot that many people, because if you look at Ehome's draft, they have, 3 strength heroes? Warlock is pretty close to a strength hero, based on his base strength as well. So I think he's going to have a little bit of trouble comboing people, but as long as he moves around and works with some of his allies, he can definitely get kills. But usually you want to pick Tiny when you're against squishy int casters like Lion. Some of the heroes they have on Ehome's side are not quite the same.
Oh, okay. We're going to be moving on here. Looks like back in the mid lane, we are going to have our Morphling getting a ton of farm here. I mean, you've got 15 last hits, 10 denies, and our Templar Assassin only 5 last hits. can she afford to be this poor this early on, or is laning phase super crucial for her?
It kind of depends what Z-Freak accomplishes, really, because there's, what, 2 heroes in the mid lane, there's 2 heroes in the safe lane, and there's a 1v1 top. If Monkeys is able to get the upper hand over Tide, then this doesn't really matter that much. And if the bottom is able to move around and apply pressure that forces rotations from some of those extra supports on their dual lanes, then it's fine. But again, we're running into the same problem that I talked about before. There's not that much squishy heroes on Ehome that are vulnerable to kills like that. Tide's not vulnerable because he's got Kraken Shell. If he takes too much damage, his stun goes away. And on the mid lane, are you really going to be able to kill Morphling? He can probably just wait for him away. So if they had more vulnerable lanes, yeah, the roaming Mirana could actually be really useful. But right now, it's not looking very good for them.
What's the importance of complexity winning their lanes? Because off lane is pretty, 50-50. Bat versus Tide, not a whole lot happening. Mid, it looks like Morphling getting the better edge. Tiny not getting a whole ton of farm down in the bottom.
I would say it's a really important thing for Cole based on the heroes that they have. Obviously, Cancel can eventually transition into Ancients and things like that, but Tide can also steal those, and Legion can help with that. And they also have really good team fight going on Ehome's side, whereas Cole is more about ganking. So if they're super behind and Ehome just groups up as 5, it's very likely they'll just take a bunch of towers. So it is important that they do have some laning advantage here.
Z-Freak picks up that haste, maybe thinking about trying to rotate towards the top, but just going in, actually wrapping around, intending to go near that bottom rune and maybe trying to initiate on the bottom lane. Old Chicken, again, getting a lot of free space, 21 last hits now in that aggressive lane for her, and Legion's levels are pretty alright as well.
I mean, it's not really what they want here. I mean, especially because they're in a dual lane with Swindles here the whole time. I don't know how many pulls they've been able to accomplish, but I mean, Moo's really not that level here, level 4 here. Looks like they're splitting pretty evenly, so he's got to get a level advantage. This is very, very important. They could do a toss back. He's going to try. Oh, perfect.
And Old Chicken takes some tower shots, does manage to get out that reach, and the Avalanche doing a fair amount of work. The charge coming in to try to hold Moo in place. Old Chicken getting low. Z-Freak on the back line is going to be going in, nipping at him. They've still got that Purifying Flames. The arrow off the mark. Z-Freak now running out of tools to go. They throw the range creep. Old Chicken still getting munched on. The arrow's not going to be doing enough work, and they leave the Legion Commander off for now. In fact, now it's Moo in a little bit of trouble as Old Lanham rotates in. They're looking to keep going here. They end up dropping that Star Storm. Z-Freak doing what he can, but Swindles gets low, and one more hit should be enough to take out the Oracle. First blood goes the way of Ehome in this bottom lane.
So the reason that didn't work out so well is basically they didn't have enough damage to kill him under the tower, but also because Swindles went for his disable first, which I think was the right move because it kept him under tower longer. But then when Press the Attack was used to remove the disable and Swindles was forced to nuke, then the nuke heal eventually came through. So if you don't burst him down in that immediate moment, then it's not very likely for you to actually get the kill. I think maybe one mistake as well is that as the toss began, Swindles could have turned around and ran to get closer to tower rather than start channeling his disable. Because by channeling the disable, what it did is it just kept him static and began the disable channel. But I think it would have been better to keep the Legion 200, maybe 300 more units closer to the tower. That would have guaranteed the kill, and possibly, I mean, they needed tower damage basically. Yeah, that little distance could have made all the difference here in that little gank. So it was a really cool attempt, but it wasn't quite executed perfectly. They just needed more damage.
Yeah, they need more damage. They really need their levels, Cole. You could tell they were getting a little bit desperate there. They really need things to start going in their favor back towards the mid. I mean, this Morphling is getting so much space. He's got almost 40 last hits now at 6 minutes in.
Yeah. And this is why you shouldn't blame your allies, guys. You can always get 41 last hits at 6 minutes. That's actually an incredible amount of fun.
Oh, Garden. Maybe in a little bit of trouble there.
They don't have
get
stuns.
focused down,
Unless the arrow hits.
Oh, it will end up connecting there. Nice little long-range arrow. They have the burst to get him down, so they're going to be able to put themselves on the board there, Cole. Nice little kill onto the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, that's very, very needed kills. The sad part is that it's just the least underfarmed hero, or the most underfarmed hero on the enemy team. So not the best hero to grab, but anything is better than nothing. They would have much preferred the Legion Commander, I'm sure. Yeah,
Old Chicken, levels really starting to add up here. What do you want the Legion to itemize for? Do you want the Blink or the Shadow or the Silver Edge?
I think Blink is pretty important here just because the enemy team also has good mobility. Tiny's likely to get Blink. Being able to Blink into a bottom would be great. Really, I mean, how many heroes on Cole are going to get Blinks? Probably 3. TA, Batrider, and Tiny. So
Sylar with a double damage rune in the bottom, smoking up towards that bot lane. Is going to be scouted out by Z-Freak, but I think they're still going for this. They've got the damage. They're starting things out with a charge onto Moo. Can he react fast enough here? He's walking around, looks for the avalanche, finds it onto 2, but they are still getting very close to him here. Sylar moving in forward underneath the tower now, switches target to Swindles, and looks like Swindles is just going to get consumed by the Morphling. Moo walking around under tower. Morphling is going to get tossed up onto his allies, taking a lot of tower shots. Slark can still morph strength. Meanwhile, we are going to have a kill on the Warlock. Avalanche flips onto 2, so it looks like Moo will find an escape for himself. 1-for-1 globally. Who's that going to favor?
Yeah, I think that's better for Ehome. I think Swindle's actually played that quite well. The Fate's Edict that he put on the Tiny was safe just because the arrow, or I'm sorry, the waveform was expected, but Slark held it actually. If he was maybe a little bit more YOLO, he would have gone for that one.
Slark nipping onto Monkeys forever. Gonna get charged up in the pit. There's gonna be a haste rune on the Morphling. That's dangerous. He's gonna sit himself up on that ledge, knowing that no one really wants to get themselves trapped there now. I want to talk a little bit about the leveling and the building of Ehome. Tidehunter, gonna be level 8, almost level 9. Still hasn't picked up that Ravage.
Yeah, if you're just planning to lane, it's not that big of a deal. I think the idea is that they didn't really want to rotate for it. They preferred to just sit him top and get as much farm as possible, especially because they already feel like they have a lane advantage, that there may be less pressure on him to actually go for that kind of a thing. And especially with having Gush, he can contribute to kills a lot safer without having to blow, his big ultimate cooldown kind of thing. So he'll get it eventually, just he's more preferential towards finishing mech, getting Ravage later, and then taking big team fights.
Yeah, Warlock only level 4 here, so he really doesn't have that wombo combo follow-up there. Z-Freak going forward, they should be able to find this kill. He's healing up the Shadow Word, doing crazy amounts of damage there, but Swindles ends up getting the kill. Z-Freak should be just fine here, able to go back and regen to a nice, healthy amount.
That was a bro gank. How do you stop that? I don't know.
Man, nothing stronger than that brother bond now. Monkeys forever moving in. Maybe looking for something there. Psionic Trap popped out, but this Morphling is a big issue now. Legion getting tossed up, but Moo is going to be charged. I don't know if they can finish this game in time. This is very dangerous here. Moo is flying solo, and that's going to be the first duel as well. They should be able to find this. They've got the damage, and that's going to be your first Legion Commander successful duel.
Yeah, I think Moo definitely went a little far there. He needed to do this combo and then back off immediately, just because the dual disable duration is just so scary. Especially also Tiny's attack speed is low, which means that you actually killing him through his duel is very unlikely in the first place. So you just got to play around your cooldowns. And I assume that Cole has been practicing this swap a little bit. It's definitely more likely, I feel, that they put Moo on a gank hybrid type carry rather than a snowball slowly farm one. But right now he's showing a little bit of inexperience.
Yeah, it's definitely that offlane mentality of you're in it solo, you're going against a solo, and now Old 11 takes an avalanche, but not going to be too bothered by that. The rest of Ehome definitely positioning up. They want to start taking this tower because that's going to be a huge advantage around the Radiant Jungle, around the Roche Pit.
Yeah, it's definitely something that they can do. On the bright side, though, for Cole, they have been still getting kills with Z-Freak. The net worths don't look very good in their favor, but they have this huge grouping in the middle, which could eventually become the 3 to 6 level, or 3 to 6 most farmed heroes. So they just have to get a couple more kills. Things are about to get out of hand, especially if Ehome does do a lot of 5-man, but
Swindles is probably going to be in trouble there. Is able to pop off the ultimate in time, gets the terrifying flames, but the damage is just too much. You can't heal through this. He's going to be, just blasted to oblivion.
Tactical last hit.
Yeah, just gets a little bit going for himself. One thing I really do like about Complexity's lineup here is that they've got Z-Freak on the Mirana, who can scale up into a semi-core in the late game. It's not like he's going to be playing that hard support that can't really transition into a damage dealer.
It's always possible, agreed. The issue is at what point does he get Ags? If you get it at a relatively good time and you get a little bit of time to split push, then you just show up in a lane, you double Starfall away, and all of a sudden you've got an extra 500 gold. That's really beneficial, obviously. But can he get there in time? I mean, a lot of the core Miranas we've been seeing are struggling with that same idea, and they've got free farm in lanes.
Coming back in onto Moo. He goes and gets the avalanche up on Little Old Chicken's time, but is this really going to be enough to save him? They're bringing Monkeys forever. The Ravage committed, though. They're just going to focus down this Tiny, and they are going to get a duel as well. There's going to be no lasso to break up the fight there, and now they're going on to Monkeys forever as well.
He doesn't have Firefly. This is so bad for him now.
Not great. Monkeys had that save your buddy syndrome, but unfortunately will be punished as well.
Yeah, he must have been using Firefly to farm somewhere, and if he would have had that, he might have killed them, but at some point you just don't have the damage.
That's 2 heroes and a tier 1 tower down bottom, and that's a huge control point around the Radiant Jungle, and that's something Morphling can now use to farm. He can send a replicate in there. It's looking rough for Complexity.
Yeah, and they thought that they would have a juke advantage under the trees to abuse Tiny's low toss cooldown, but because of the charge, then all of a sudden juking doesn't matter anymore. You couldn't follow up through that. He couldn't do a toss and then back up again and juke through more trees. So it was just really limited the leverage that he thought he could have in that fight. So that was part of the reason. They just didn't anticipate the charge.
Going in, trying to get that gush up. They might be able to find the Tidehunter here. It's a nice pick, but unfortunately, just still not worth losing your Tiny and Bat and your tier 1.
Well, that one was worth it. 522 gold there for the Oracle. That's because they're so far behind here. So 188 going to Tiny himself. The Oracle getting a lot of that. Not bad. Swindle's actually pretty farmed here. He's got about 700 gold past his Arcane Boots, so he's pretty happy. And even Z-Freak's not doing terrible. Arcanes
Looks
and
like it is
Point
going to be a
Booster.
fast axe.
Yeah, he's lacking some levels here though. 12 minutes and he doesn't have a 6, and more importantly, his Starfall's not maxed out. Really the good thing for bursting people down, but Replicate here with the Legion Commander is quite useful to hitting towers.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is quite tanky here. Eating some tower shots, not really too bothered, and there we go. Complexity just seem like they're constantly reacting to what Ehome are doing, and they have a lineup that benefits from them being the aggressors, them smoking up with the Tiny, them bringing the Templar Assassin to wrap around, them with the Blink Lasso initiations on monkeys.
But the problem is they have to get to that point. They don't have Blink Daggers on all those heroes that we're talking about for ganking. They actually goes armor first with phase boots. Interesting build. They'll easily be able to kill Cancel and get the dual lock. Great setup here. Will be in time.
I got the Blink off there.
Okay, so basically he got stunned, but Reflection stopped the damage. And then the follow-up ulti from Oracle guaranteed no more damage. Can they get a catch, though? This would be huge.
Monkeys is thinking about it, but the targets are just too ambitious. Both the Morphling and the Legion are heroes. You don't want to bring
great arrow.
close to you. They're going in, though. It's putting out the damage there. It's going to be that Moonlight Shadow coming in. There's the Chaotic Offering. The Golem doing so much damage. Tearing apart Moo. He's going to be getting back. The Fatal Bond's doing some work, but Z-Freak's still feeling healthy. Monkeys Forever now going to be just flapping up onto the high ground. And you are going to have Garter eventually taking out your Templar Assassin. So a really high-value target will be going down. They're looking for a reinitiation here. The arrow stops the Spearbreaker in his tracks. Nice avalanche connecting onto a bunch of heroes, but is it enough to stop this chase? Old 11 continues to move forward. Garter as well. He's going to have charge up pretty shortly, but the vision game not great enough for Ehome at this point to continue.
It was pretty okay, kind of. I mean, they definitely lost a bit, losing TA as well as Oracle, but picking off the Legion Commander was pretty solid. Considering they were this far behind, I think that's all right. Considering, but the big loss is that there wasn't a Ravage there. If there was a Ravage, it would allow Cole to be more aggressive right now, but they didn't get both the kill and have Ravage be wasted, or at least used in that way for only a moderate game.
Yeah, that Ravage that is so scary. Cole have that lineup where, you know, they've got the Tiny and the Mirana and the TA that want to just go in and start, you know, right-clicking away at a hero, but if you group up that closely and you get Ravage, that's a completely lost team fight.
It's really a game of Cole needing to weave in and out of team fights, re-engage, disengage kind of stuff, so can they get that initiation? They were hoping to maybe get Fortune then to disable the time, but it's like they're not going to be able to do a lot of raindrops as well on the Dire team. Very important item just because of how much magic burst they have. If they stay alive through the magic burst, then Ehome should win every team fight easily with Rock and things like that.
Templar Assassin's Blink. I mean, it's pretty well timed for her. She's going to be the top of her team in terms of net worth, but the overall net worth for Complexity is still not looking fantastic. Is that what you expect, or are Ehome just really pulling ahead early?
They're just pulling ahead really well. Their laning stage was great.
Z-Freak
didn't. That was a great attempt there with the arrow leap, but this should be his death here unless...
Yeah, he's juking and jiving,
he
but...
needed to not get bashed there.
Well, he got bashed. He was earned as well, so the tick damage was going to finish him off.
Maybe. It's hard to say. Could have done at least a half-second stun if he got in trees, tried for a TP juke. Maybe he lives there. Just a little unlucky.
Sylar going to get bullied up a little bit by Cancel here, but Cancel's going to get charged. That refraction is not going to be too helpful. Maybe they get the kill over there. Meanwhile, Sylar...
He will get hit by this nuke any moment.
Come on.
Wait, there it is.
Oh, we got him.
That's split push right there. Anti-split push right there. Trying to slow down that wave on the bottom.
Well, I don't think it's going to be slowed down too much as you've got 4 Ehome heroes very eager and ready to just go slam on that tier 2.
And Lincoln's the guaranteed build here for Morphling. It's so good against Lasso. It's pretty good against heroes like Tiny as well. I don't know if it stops toss damage or not. Don't remember. But there's a lot of other good things. Oracle disables. Mostly Lasso, though, is the big one.
Ehome, they now have complete control over the Radiant Jungle. They've got really good ward vision as well, so they just see what's going on. And again, Complexity, like we talked about in the draft, against the Spearbreaker, they don't feel safe pushing out and trying to sneak some farm, because as soon as Ehome catch wind, they've got amazing follow-ups.
Yeah, they're going for it now, but they surely know what's coming. But Blink Daggers on both of those cores, they should be able to get out. Blinking and then TPing is definitely the important thing. Oh, he can't! Oh, that's a mistake.
Cancel living up to his name right there, but he can still walk home. I don't think he's going to get punished for that.
It's very lucky that he wasn't the one that was charged there, because if he was charged, they would have had division. Who knows? Maybe they stop, maybe they don't, but that was pretty scary. Maybe he did it on purpose, though, just to guarantee the last hit, but I feel like if you're against an SB, that's not a move you make.
I mean, there's some mind games going on. We all know Complexity are capable of some next-level stuff, but...
Oh, he might have also seen the Spearbreaker stop his charge in the mid lane. This might have been the other one, actually. But looks scary for us the servers, that's for sure. Lincoln's broken here. Can we watch that nuke fly across the map again? That's too late. Thanks, observers. There.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
you kind of.
Oh, yeah, okay, you know,
Basically, it's the gank right now.
B minus.
As far as I'm concerned.
Alright, so this other tier 2 getting sieged. It's looking like Ehome are just picking up too much of a map advantage. And again, with the threat of the Spear Breaker, the Morphling Replicate, the Tide and the Legion blinking in and trying to get on top of you, it's so dangerous for Complexity to try to sneak farm elsewhere on the map, and they're just getting, you know, that old Anaconda strat wrapped around. They're now forced back into their base, and they're gonna start dropping off. Heroes like Tiny, TA, they need to be farming constantly to keep themselves relevant into the late game.
Yeah, it's not going to give them as much as they want here.
And we've got TA doing TA things up the mid lane, but I don't really know if that's where she needs to be right now. Toss coming in. Just,
Try to toss back to initiate here, but with that tower gone, there's no kind of lose the Rax to 18.
maybe some flame breaks thrown out, but I really don't think this is enough to stop the damage. Dwindle's doing what he can, pops the Lincolns, but Monkey's not going to initiate on back to that. There is going to be the toss up. Morphling getting a little bit low, but easy waveform back out. Warlock slowing everyone down, just keeping control of despite all the ultimates are available for Ehome. They've got the Ravage, they've got everything they need. So the duel can start things off, and there we go. Oracle doing what they can to keep the Batrider alive. Is it going to be enough here? Prevents the duel damage from coming in, but everyone's still getting low. Chaotic Offering coming in on top of the Fatal Launchers. It's looking grim
They're getting
for
low.
Complexity. The Fire doing a decent amount of damage. Ultimate gets off a
The
decent
armlet.
heal, and now actually the Purifying Flame helping out. They will get the heal on the Legion. That's a nice little pick right there, but
Yeah, gotta
be
keep her
returned
alive.
around. Monkeys is going to be
Oh, they're just
the
so low,
grind
they
as
can get him. They gotta chase now. Or they could just worry about Morphling killing the whole team, but
that is also a fear that they have. And now Cancel going to be getting low. Old 11's blinking forward, very aggressive here, looking to pop that refraction. Z-Freak trying to do what he can.
Blood
Biotic
dying.
Trap, and it's going to be enough there. They will get the kill on the Tide Hunter. Very well played from them. Swindles, though, getting very low, not going to be finished off by that adaptive strike. And now Arrow flying in. Old Lanham will be able to dodge that out, and these racks will start to fall. So bloody engage with both sides. Old Lanham going to be going down.
if they can get Sattler as well on top, this would be great. There's a Lincoln's up in 5. He still has about 38 agility. He can morph to strength here. If they miss the meld strike, that's going to be less minus armor. This is just so scary for them.
Oh, it just feels like they're not doing enough damage right now. Cancel just needs that one more big item before they can really follow up. But Sylar looks like he's trying to juke around towards the river. Garter reinitiating here. They're going to go on to Swindles. They get the double bash. That's an easy kill on the Oracle. Negative charge on Z-Freak as well. He's just going to be galloping around in the back lines. But the rest of Ehome still feels safe taking this initiation. They don't feel pushed back.
I think that was overall good for Cole, despite the whole barracks falling thing. I mean, Tiny got a lot of net worth in that engagement. They got 3 to 4 cycles of Avalanche toss hitting a lot of heroes, and eventually the nuke damage did do enough. The initiation was great from Ehome, though. The instant blink, they disabled the lasso target. Swindles was able to delay his death. At least I got a lasso out of the team fight, but he did die immediately afterwards with the Ravage.
Yeah, it's getting rough here looking at the overall net worth. It is really just, it keeps sloping down in favor of Ehome. Is this going to be one of the situations where Cole can just really try to sit back and take it late and get a huge Tiny and get a huge Batrider, huge TA, or is Ehome going to scale just as well with their Morphling?
Ehome should scale better, really, with Legion as well. They just have 2 great heroes for team fighting between Tide as well as the Legion initiation. I mean, it's the same thing to say about the Rock as well. So Ehome has great team fight, but Cole has lots of nuke damage. So really the thing that's going to keep Ehome alive most likely is something like a pipe. If they get a pipe or a hood on a couple core heroes, then it's going to make it a lot harder for Cole to win fights. Although Force Staff on Tide is going to be the build, not going to see a pipe on him, maybe somebody else. Yeah, I'm not seeing a hood or anything coming out of Ehome. This is NP, they definitely would build a hood, but I think Ehome's not necessarily making the wrong choice here. Oh, big duel.
And it's definitely a duel, but again, we talked about dueling the Tiny to the Craggy. It's not going to be enough to get the duel victory. The adaptive strike, though, slowing down Moo. He's going to look to get the Avalanche. It will stop the Legion Commander, but Morphling is still able to get the kill. They're looking for a reinitiation here. They may have bitten off Morphling. You see Old 11 coming in, pops the Ravage. Heroes getting very, very low. They've got the vision onto the TA. They drop the Chaotic Offering. It's enough to get the TA down. They're looking for Monkeys as well. He's got the Firefly on, gets down to the low ground. He's going to be earned up as well. Old Chicken follows up, and that's going to be another kill. 3 heroes on Complexity down. Tiny does have buyback, but I don't even know if that's enough to get them back in this here. Oracle just prolonging his life, but will end up bursting as soon as this ult is over.
Yeah, he is able to kill the Warlock at least, and looking at the way how Tiny reacted to that, he tossed his opponent in the air. It actually, he could have killed him, I think, if the Avalanche toss there, which may have made the difference. He might have been able to get the Blink Dagger off afterwards. I'm not entirely sure, but
Z-Freak burst the world here. Can he do it? I mean, I got so much faith in Z-Freak. Again, he's got the Aghanim Scepter. He's got his little mana boost. The stats are all right.
getting pressured too by Tides. Head's trying to keep him out of the area.
Morphling, but
all he has to do is walk in, double Starfall, and then leap out without dying. That's all.
that is a tall order when Ehome have catch for days.
Yeah, it's pretty scary actually. Trying to slow down the golem and stuff, but the barracks is getting low.
Yeah, I mean, top lane is going to be still sitting alright. They've got half a lane of supers.
Big thing is really how fast there's a Blink Dagger on Z-Freak. They pop a smoke here, but they actually were already charging their opponents. Really good usage there by the SB. Didn't actually mean to commit to it, but it does give him smoke potential.
Cool. I mean, are they getting desperate here? Is this their kind of YOLO play? They've got to go in, they've got to find something.
Definitely is. They know that Roche might be up semi-soon, considering when the last Aegis was used, so this is a great time to take a team fight for them. If they can actually win this fight, and handily win it somehow, that could turn them into an Aegis advantage.
I mean, there is no Ravage for the next little bit here, no Chaotic Offering as well, so it is a great window to go in. The problem is, Ehome, I mean, they just read this like a book. They know exactly what's coming, and they're just sitting on their high ground very defensively. They're still a tier 1 to get through.
Yeah, the charge did everything really, just anticipated when their opponents would actually go for the smoke, and tested it out and actually caught it. So both can still pressure this, they can likely take the tier 1 at least. They're backing up, they're trying to play cancel like he's scared, but his opponents are reading right through it.
Yeah, there's going to be another smoke coming back in. And, yeah, tower's going to go down, but at what cost here? It looks like Ehome, they want to take this fight. Old 11 is going to get Ravage back pretty soon there.
Oh, he blocked the E-Blade.
Shadow. Let's see what's going to be going down here. Charge coming back on through this. Tossed up. It looks like Tidehunter will end up going down. Monkeys, he's burning down. He's getting low, but Z-Freak coming in, dropping that double star from doing a lot of damage. Old Chicken trying to retreat now. There's going to be a toss forward, and it looks like Moo will get a double kill. This is going very well for Complexity. It may end up losing cancel here. He will get charged, and the refraction is not going to get saved. Sylar looking to man up, looking to make this an even fight. They do get the kill on the Spear Breaker, though. This is looking really good, but I don't know if there's enough damage from Complexity to finish this off. Swindle's getting low, but still alive. Will end up getting bursted down by the waveform, and now Moo running for his life. Do they have the catch here? Garter looking for that charge, needs some vision, and looks like Ehome will not be able to find it before he TP's out. So again, bloody engage, and Cole actually trade relatively evenly there.
It was okay. Z-Freak's gonna get caught though, super good in the area.
Z-Freak, no. Come on, man, I believe in you.
Yeah, he gets picked off there. It was a good try, but Garter was invis and wasn't anticipating the cover there. So, pretty good fight for Cole. Some huge things were, especially the refraction blocking the first E-Blade from Morphling, kind of limited his early engagement. The Batrider did fairly well, got his lasso off, but it was kind of like, I'm dying, time to lasso thing. And they also picked up the Tide really fast, but again, that was a fight without Ravage, without Warlock ulti, and they still lost it by a little bit. It really shows the net worth difference here. And maybe if TA had a Deso or a Daedalus or something like that, it could have been a kill easier on the hero like Legion Commander, for example, but it kind of took them everything they had just to get those 2 kills.
Yeah, meanwhile, while Cole was so focused on that fight, so focused on trying to trade evenly with Ehome, the creeps were able to finish off the top lane of Rack, so it is now a full lane of super creeps up there.
Yeah, they gotta just push lanes as much as they can. Their players are playing fairly well. I think Cole is definitely playing better than they did recently, but might not be everything. I like the Veil of Discord that Swindle's picked up. That's a really smart item choice, considering how magic nuke heavy they are on their team.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, is he going to be deep enough into the fights to actually cast out the Veil and then live? And, well, we'll see there. Northbreak tossed out on Garter, but, I mean, he's just got plenty of forms of heal. Pops into the urn, and Legion Commander helping him out as well, so Ehome, they're looking to go in and try to tap on this bottom lane of Rax.
Yep, that's what they want to do for sure. Having the Morphling illusion again is also really useful. Just put the Legion in front.
Morphling with the BKB now, so that Veil on Swindles is not going to be doing a whole lot.
Yeah, it's like his only weakness, and this way he can be even more agility more to make sure this combo does even more damage. Definitely going to be aiming for either, I would say, Tiny or the Batrider, or maybe the TA if the TA is really out of position and stunned.
Yeah, looking at the net worth chart, I'm a little surprised Legion's as low as she is. Tidehunter surpassing her by a fair amount. Is that just because she hasn't found a whole lot of duels and she's just been farm focused? Or
yeah, she's been awful. Whereas Tiny just has they playing all of the dangerous big BKB usage.
Oh, there we go. It's going to get dragged up. They're bringing him into the tier 4s. This is going to be a 10-second BKB, but can they actually focus him down in time? Z-Freaks, meanwhile, trying to focus down the Legion in the back line, just leaving Chaotic Offering. Landon getting very, very low. Will end up bursting down the Ravage. Just on the tough heroes. But looks like Ehome are still healthy, are still fighting. They've got the Golem on their side. Moo, he's looking for some sort of reinitiation. He's got his Aghanim Scepter, but he's just not beefy enough, not putting up enough damage to take on all the remaining heroes on Ehome. Toss back in, and they're doing a little bit of damage there, but oh man, that Escalate doing so much work, and Legion gets the kill onto the Tiny. They're looking to focus down the Oracle as well. Z-Freak, one of the lone survivors, Monkeys, flapping back into their well, and it looks like this tower will get focused off at Ehome right now.
It was a great movement there by Sylar to interrupt the Blink Dagger on Tiny. Moo was out of position, but he thought he could blink when the threat came. But the ult usage, ooh, getting him low.
Arrow not going to connect though. Old Chicken will live for now. Looks like Deep Freak will get focused, unfortunately. Buys right back. They want to try this again. There's going to be a stun up as Garter is going to be able to go ahead and invis himself away. Sylar respawns, but he's just going to go right back into this. He's feeling completely full. They're going in up the windows. There's going to be a duel as well onto this Muerta, and that is a dieback from Deep Freak right now.
They want to get one of these guys, but the armlet as well as all the heals are making it so difficult for Cole to actually secure any of these kills.
So Ehome, they come back. They're a little bit scratched up, a little bit battle-worn, but nothing they can't just go and jungle up, pick up their next round of items, and now Cole have very few places where it's safe to farm.
Yeah. I mean, they can again do some smoke movement across the map. At least the Aegis is gone, and they did use Ravage. But this fight's been so long and it cost them so many buybacks. The gold graph is getting worse and worse over time. It's a massive advantage.
I mean, we're only 28 minutes in, and it feels like Ehome, they're getting real big items on their cores, the items that they need to actually go in and finish this game off. You look at Batrider, he's sitting on 2,400 gold, should be able to pick up his Blink around now, but...
he does not have Blink, okay.
Yeah,
that
well,
is a big item.
Got it. There we go. Yay.
But it is 28 minutes. Bit of a delay here.
He's got drums, be nice to him.
That is really not going to make it okay. I mean, the drums is a fine build. I'm just pointing out the fact that Cole is supremely behind this game, and the fact that Bat is just now getting a Blink Dagger, really bad sign.
I mean, is that going to change up the next fight? Does Cole have the potential to go for a Blink Lasso and just completely catch Ehome off guard?
I sort of think so, but the problem is that there's already so many supportive items on Ehome that's going to counteract that. They can just Glimmer Cape whoever gets lassoed, for example, as long as it's not Warlock. Using 2 smokes here just to start the fight, that's a bit of a miscommunication problem there. Really costly if this game goes any longer than the next team fight.
Well, Moonlight Shadow coming in, so the smoke is going to get all sneaky, but it looks like Ehome, they're crawling into the bottom lane. Complexity chasing after him, but the Moonlight Shadow I don't think is going to last long enough, so they're just going to kind of walk in and try their luck.
That's fine. Really, they were hoping to find them at Ancients perhaps, but they see where their team is. If they're swinging from the back, I don't think Ehome really expects them to be here. The lanes are so pushed out that Ehome may soon expect smoke gank, but if they can initiate on the Warlock, they're going to find him first. This is really good for them.
They're looking, they are going to be able to go in. The toss, the toss is back in, and now they do have a chance to rest, do have a chance to Chaotic Offering. We'll see if Ehome can react to this quick enough. Windows get focused down on the back line, completely destroyed by that Morphling, and it looks like the rest of Complexity are now running for their lives as Morphling chases after, cancels, and melds up. They don't have vision there, but there's the dust. Meanwhile, the duel is going to be buying Deep Freak some time here. I don't think it's going to be a dual casualty, but will still end up going down in the end. Old Chicken, unfortunately not able to score damage there, but Complexity Blood tasting oh so good.
Yeah, they just completely whiffed their initiation. They both saw the Warlock at the same time, and they both went to initiate. And the problem was that Tiny tossed Batrider in the air, effectively stunning him for a second, which means that no lasso for him, and instead just a toss on his ally. If it was just a Blink Lasso, and they were able to do avalanche toss Warlock guys at the start of the fight, and everything changes. But they lost Swindles in the jungle, which completely offset their ability to do anything good in that fight.
Was that just positioning mistakes by Complexity, or a really good read by Ehome?
It's just communication error, that they happen to go in at the exact same time on the same person and toss counter.
Tossed in by Tide. He does have his Ravage, or he does have his Ravage rather, but he's going to get stunned up. Healed up by the Warlock. Again, the heals from Ehome are just doing so much work. These racks now exposed. Serious damage coming down. Sylar getting very, very low. Deep Freak coming in. Drops to the Starstorm. Can Warlock do enough here? There is going to be a duel here, and it looks like Cancel can't stand up to the damage. They lose Deep Freak as well. Buyback from the Templar Assassin. Now Golden drops down. Moo getting very, very low. Healed up by Swindles, but I don't think it's going to be enough. There is going to be a Batrider drag back. They do get the kill on Legion Commander. But the racks are still very, very vulnerable. Cancel. And back in here again. This is a buyback. Can't afford to go down. They're going in onto Lanham. That's going to be a big pull if they can find it. They are able to get something for their troubles. 3 heroes down on Ehome, but it's very, very expensive for Complexity.
Yeah, more and more buybacks, but at least they are getting some kills. It's looking like they're on the edge of winning this game, and by winning this game, I mean coming back into this game, but they're doing okay for fights considering the gold advantage. Honestly, when Morphling have that much and you're able to kill his allies, it gives you what you need. If they can kill all of Ehome's supports and then finish off Morphling afterwards, then they'll actually get back in the game. They still haven't lost a second set of racks, so they can still win this game.
Tiny definitely counting on things going late. Picks up that Midas. He's got himself 1,500 more gold.
He's had that a long time, actually. He got that right after his Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
Actually 15 minutes ago.
Is it paying off for him yet?
Yeah, I would say so, considering how little he's been farming. It just guarantees that, I mean, if he gets 2,000 gold after Blink Dagger, Yeah, maybe that could be an X. Maybe it could be like an Echo Saber. Maybe something like that would be arguably good. But by buying Midas, he knew that even if the farm rates are a bit lower, he guarantees that he will have more items. And honestly, it gives you 30 attack speed. For a hero that loses attack speed from his ultimate and gets plus damage, it's very beneficial, at least in the actual stats it gives you. For a lot of heroes, that isn't the case. So I kind of like it. I think it's been useful, and as he translates into his next item, I think it's going to continue being more useful. Just they have to win some fights real soon.
Yeah, it's doing really well in terms of net worth, pretty much on par with the TA, but this Morphling is just skyrocketing ahead, and there's no signs of him slowing down. Morph 1409 right now.
It's pretty good.
It's alright.
Manta Cell's up as well, and Manta Morphling Illusions are one of the strongest in the game just because of how much agility he can stack up. Next item, most likely Scotty, I feel like, because at some point once you get a Scotty, TA becomes a worthless hero. She can't get away from you, you can attack fast enough to break her refraction charges rapidly, and tons of tricks to deal with her minus armor and burst damage.
Warlock getting real close to that Aghanim Scepter, so more and more golems, and those chaotic offerings have been completely on point. They're usually initiated by the Fatal Bonds as well, so the damage is just huge.
Yeah, it's really more about disrupting the team fight though, just doing your first stun of follow-up. In some of the other fights, they would do Ravage into Chaotic Offering, or Chaotic Offering to stop them, to set up the Ravage. Things like that are huge. Warlock just has, his ultimate has such a long cast range that oftentimes your opponents don't always expect it when it comes. And just that little 1 second of disable can be enough to follow up with your other spells.
Got 2 smokes coming in. We are going to have Ehome just walking around, and we'll see if they're going to get scouted out Complexity. They're a little bit confused here. They went for the scan to try to figure out if Ehome was in their jungle, but they don't get a good read on them there. They are finding vision now, so they do ping out what's going on. That Observer ward coming in handy. Oh, the items.
Yeah, they'll lose that ward as well.
We're going to start the fight here. Smoke is going to gank up Swindle, start things off, goes in for the initiation onto the Warlock, but immediately flashes down. It's going to be a nice little action coming back in, but the Ravage picks it all things up. An easy duel onto the Tiny. Tiny's dead now, cannot fight back. Cancel, one of the lone damage dealers left on his team. There's a buyback from the Bat Rider, but still no lasso. Losing a lot of impact in this next fight. Monkeys just flying away. Old 11 continues to move forward. He's so tanky. He's so damage heavy now. And Sapphire chewing apart these racks. Reinitiation onto Monkeys forever. Easy kill. Just torn apart by that Ethereal Blade.
I think Swindle's really misplaying the last couple of engagements. That he's playing way too aggressive. Cole clearly has lost this game now. The Mega Creeps is going to fall. Their chances of defending are so low, but Swindle cannot be in the front. And he's been playing this game from an aspect of, I'm going to use my first skill to set up an arrow. And late game like this against Ravage, Morphling, and all of these other problems, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's just getting really desperate to try to stop the damage, and trying to hold Warlock down so they can get a lasso off, so they can stop those golems from coming out, but it's not something he can do. So what do you want to see